My military roommate was stealing from me, so I set the perfect trap. I was a specialist at Fort Bragg, sharing a barracks room with this guy Tyler. Seemed like a decent dude at first, kept his side clean, didn't snore too loud, minded his own business. We'd been roommates for about 3 months when I started noticing stuff going missing. First, it was small things. My good shampoo would run out way faster than it should. My energy drinks would disappear from our mini fridge. I figured maybe I was just using more than I thought, or Tyler was borrowing stuff and forgot to mention it. Then it got worse. $20 vanished from my wallet, then another 40 the next week. I kept my wallet in my wall locker, but Tyler knew my combination because we'd been cool up to that point. Roommates usually share locker combos in case of emergencies. The breaking point was when my PlayStation controller went missing. That thing cost me $80 and I'd saved up for weeks to buy it. I asked Tyler if he'd seen it and he just shrugged and said, "Maybe you left it in the day room?" I knew something was up. Tyler had been acting weird lately, avoiding eye contact, always seemed to have extra cash for the PX even though we made the same pay. Plus, I'd caught him going through my stuff a couple times when he thought I wasn't looking, but I needed proof. Couldn't just accuse him without evidence, especially since we still had 6 months left on our room assignment. Making false accusations against another soldier is a serious offense, so I came up with a plan. I went to the bank and got 10 crisp $20 bills. Brand new ones, sequential serial numbers. I wrote down every single number in my phone and took pictures of each bill. Then I left the money in my wallet, but this time I put my wallet in a slightly different spot in my locker. Not obvious, but different enough that I'd know if someone moved it. I also set up my phone to record video and hid it in my wall locker, angled so it could see my bed area and locker space. Told Tyler I was going to the gym for 2 hours, longer than usual. Instead, I went to the gym for 30 minutes, then came back and waited outside our building. Sure enough, about an hour later, I see Tyler leaving with a big smile on his face, heading toward the PX. I snuck back into our room and checked my phone. The video was perfect. Crystal clear footage of Tyler opening my locker, going through my wallet, and taking 6 of the 20s. He even counted them twice to make sure I wouldn't notice they were all gone. I checked my wallet. Yep, 6 20s missing, and he'd moved the remaining bills around to try to hide the gaps. But here's where my trap got interesting. Instead of confronting him immediately, I waited. I wanted to see what he'd do with the money. Later that evening, Tyler comes back with bags from the PX. New headphones, a bunch of snacks, some expensive body wash. He's acting all casual, even offered to share some of the snacks with me. "Hey man, picked up some extra stuff at the PX. Want some of these cookies?" I said, "Sure, thanks." All friendly. Meanwhile, I'm recording this whole conversation on my phone, getting him to basically confess on audio that he just went shopping. The next morning, I went straight to our first sergeant. Brought my phone with the video evidence, the list of serial numbers, and photos of the bills I could prove Tyler had stolen. First sergeant called Tyler into his office 20 minutes later, asked him to empty his pockets and open his wall locker. Tyler still had 4 of my $20 bills in his wallet, the exact serial numbers I'd written down. When first sergeant asked where he got the money, Tyler tried to lie and say it was his pay from last week. But our pay comes direct deposit, and Tyler had already spent his whole paycheck earlier that week. I knew because he'd been complaining about being broke just 3 days before. Tyler got an Article 15, lost a rank, and had to pay me back everything he'd stolen over the past few months. Turns out he'd been stealing from his previous roommate too, but that guy never reported it. I got a new roommate the next week. Guy named Marcus, solid dude who actually asked permission before borrowing anything, even a pen. Tyler spent his last 8 months at Bragg working extra duty and dealing with the reputation of being the guy who got caught stealing on camera. Word spreads fast in the barracks.